Hello, I am Mystic Orange and this is video 452. So in this video I'll be listing out the top 10 TV shows from CITV and other ITV channels. I did this for BBC and I want to do it for ITV as well. But I can guarantee it won't be as passionate as the BBC one. But before we get into this video, make sure to like and subscribe and check out my Patreon page. But do check out my recent video, it's where I talked about ITV channels. The first show that I want to talk about is Horrid Henry. Horrid Henry is a show that used to be on CITV, but now it's on Nickelodeon. It currently now has 5 seasons. I much prefer the first 2 seasons. I'm not too fan of the last 3, especially not 4 and 5. Horrid Henry is my favourite show growing up. It's kind of like Tracy Beaker or Dennis and Asher. I do think that Horrid Henry is iconic in the UK. I can see the pros and cons of the first 2 seasons. The pro is that I can see that they were giving us personality of Henry of being horrid. Like not every character needs to be a perfect angel. I think the con is that it hasn't aged well. You can tell in the first 2 seasons, there are some things that hasn't aged well, like sexism or yeah. The problem I have with the last 3, I think it just stripped away his horridness. But I think the good thing about it is it did leave out the sexism, which is a good thing. But I still think they should have kept his horrid personality, because that's the name of the show, Horrid Henry. The next show that I want to talk about is Pocoyo. It's also a show that appeared on CITV. I always watched it growing up. We have characters like Pocoyo the boy, Patos the duck, Ellie the elephant, Lula the dog, Baby Bird, Sleepy Bird, and Octopus. It's one of my favorite shows when I was a kid. It always made me happy whenever I watched it. The third show that I want to talk about is Big Brother. It used to be on Channel 5, but now it's on ITV. Bear in mind, I don't hate reality TV shows. I don't like the ones like X Factor or Britain's Got Talent or Love Island. I especially do not like Love Island. I think it's the most shallow of the reality TV shows. But that doesn't mean I hate reality TV. There are some shows that I think is really good, like Big Brother, The Survivor, The Apprentice, and um, The Circle. Why I like those reality TV shows is because they are very interesting. The concept is really interesting about how like people are evicted or things like that. I do think Big Brother in particular, I do think it's interesting. The whole point of Big Brother is to be living in the same house with other strangers and to win £1 million at the end by voting. To me, I think that's a fun idea and fun execution. My main issue with Big Brother is it can be a bit spoilery at times. Like first example would be usually in the beginning it will show a preview of the episode, but I do think it's kind of spoilery sometimes for me. And second of all, I think I don't like when audiences are included. Not only do the audience ruin the experience, they also can be spoilery as well of like who's gonna be out next or something. Like the audience might chant out who they want out next, but I find that really predictable. It ruins the enjoyment of the show. I've recently watched BB UK 2023, and I do think sometimes the people who get evicted out is quite predictable. So I do wish for Big Brother the audience weren't involved. The next TV show that I want to talk about is Catchphrase. Catchphrase is a game show that appears on ITV. It is where contestants guess a catchphrase or an idiom based on images and videos they see. I find it really fun and stimulating. On the fifth spot, I will place Bob's Burger. Bob's Burger is an animated sitcom that appears on ITV2. The characters include Bob, Linda, Tina, Louise, and Jean. In my opinion, I would consider Bob's Burger to be the best animated sitcom ever. I would even consider it to be better than The Simpsons. In fact, I would consider that while the other sitcoms get worse each time, Bob's Burger only gets better each time. The sixth TV show that I want to talk about is The Family Guy. Just like Bob's Burger, Family Guy is another adult animated series that appears on ITV2. But unlike Bob's Burgers, I don't respect The Family Guy as much. I will say that it is kind of comedic and kind of fun to watch. However, in my opinion, I do not like the main characters as much, apart from Stewie, who is a baby. But the rest of the main characters are terrible. I think Peter is a gross adult. I think Lewis is a witch. I think Chris is stupid. Meg I kind of sympathize, but I don't care about her either. And Brian is kind of a narcissist. The reason I like Stewie is that, yes, he can be terrible, but he's also entertaining. The fact that he's a baby and that can take over the world, that's really fun concept to me. I just find the other characters like distasteful, especially Peter. But on occasion, I still would watch Family Guy. I don't think it's completely terrible. I just think it hasn't aged well at all. The seventh TV show that I want to talk about is The Office. The Office is an American sitcom that appears on ITV2. I don't have to run down every character, but I will say my favorite character is Oscar. I really like The Office. I think it's a fun sitcom. The one thing I like about The Office is funny, but it doesn't have a laugh track. The eighth show that I want to talk about is The Superstars. Just like The Office, it's also an American sitcom that appears on ITV2. It's not as funny as The Office, but I do think it's enjoyable to watch. And just like The Office, it also doesn't have a laugh track throughout it. My favorite character is definitely Dina. The ninth show that I want to talk about is Be Cool Scooby-Doo. Be Cool Scooby-Doo is one of the Scooby-Doo shows that appeared on CITV. Usually on CITV they will put other Scooby-Doo shows up as well, like What's New Scooby-Doo, Shaggy and Scooby Get a Clue, Mystery Incorporated, and Guess Who Scooby-Doo. Out of them all, I will say my favorite one is obviously Be Cool Scooby-Doo. I think I had the most fun with Be Cool Scooby-Doo. I just love the comedic timing. And I also think the characters are more interesting as well. And I also think Be Cool Scooby-Doo has my best iteration of Daphne. I love that in every episode, Daphne has like a new shtick. The 10th TV show that I want to talk about is You've Been Framed. It's a comedy TV show hosted by Harry Hill. It's where people send in videos of them falling over and having disastrous clips. I remember watching You've Been Framed in early 2000s and late 2000s. I do miss those classic shows from ITV back in those days. I think rewatching those unlocks so many memories for me. We do have honorable mentions from CITV and ITV. Things like Days Spud, Jim and Jam and Sonny, and Harry Hill TV burps. Also not forgetting Mr. Bean. So that's it for this video. Honestly, I haven't covered every show from CITV and ITV, so if you want to, you can share your thoughts on shows you watched from ITV and CITV. Anyways, if you like this video, make sure to like, share and subscribe, and hope you have a lovely day.